Hey Scorpio, how's it going? We're here with the timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Four of Swords. Looks like you need a break. This can be a reminder, if you haven't been taking one, to give yourself some time to recover. It'll allow you to feel reconnected. Yeah. You may need some time to ground. You can feel like a little bit just slightly distant from yourself. It feels like this is going to allow you to tune back in or connect back in. Meaning you could feel a little bit distant from certain instincts that you have from more of an intuitive place. And so giving yourself a little bit of a break or resting or doing something restorative for you or grounding, like that type of thing, it's going to help reconnect you where you'll feel like you have just that natural sense of insight again. It feels like it can come at a time when you could be going through something that's got you feeling a little bit stuck, where you're going to have to rely more on what you're feeling than what you're thinking. So what you're feeling is going to be a more important guide than you just mentally trying to figure something out. Some of you, this has to do with something that's going on with you and another person. I wonder too if you get a message when you're resting and you could feel like you need that time to yourself. Okay. It looks very much like something is going to be made right between you and another person. This can mean that there can be an apology that happens. This can mean that somebody wants to be friends with you again. It can mean that somebody's inviting you somewhere. You could feel like initially stuck about that, but I just get it from being in a place where you could feel like, I just need to cut the lights off right now, like just for the rest of the night or whatever. It feels like it's important to make sure that you're in the right place mentally, because when this comes through, you may feel like, I need to take care of myself, but I'm also being called in that direction over there, and you can feel like you can't be fully present to that. And so that's why Four of Swords is important. Making sure that you're getting enough like rest and that you are taking care of yourself. Yes, this looks like it has to do with you hanging out with someone. You're close with this person. They're in close proximity to you. Maybe that's what you're figuring out too, that line between socializing and resting, or like hanging out with this person and then having time to yourself. Because maybe you feel like you want both of those things and you need to sort of connect with your instinct. Yes, I'm seeing definitely time alone over here. You can just feel like you need that in order to be thinking clearly. You may also too want to sort of sit with how you're feeling as well to get a better idea of what your intuition is communicating with you. Because I get this sense of sort of messages that you're receiving, and you may need to be over here, like in a more isolated energy, in order to really tune into that and hear what's being communicated with you. Because you can feel like when you're socializing, this can be like friends that you hang out with, or like your best friend that you hang out with, or like your partner or whatever. When you're over here, you can feel like you can't hear yourself so clearly, or like it doesn't come through as loud. And if you have this time to yourself, it feels like it's going to allow you to really hear things and to tune in, so it won't be drowned out. That doesn't mean that you're not meant to be socializing. It just means knowing the importance of the balance of both of these things. And that can be something that comes into play. So you feel like you can fully show up. Could have been feeling stuck a little bit before. And make a plan that feels good to you, that feels aligned for you. Aligned with your values having to do with your self-care. It's like self versus relationships. my time alone versus the time that I spend socializing, and like the delicate balance between those two. Yeah, I wonder if there was so much socializing that was going on that it could have like not been allowing you to connect with yourself. Maybe that's also why you were doing that. You know, sometimes when we don't want to hear what's going on, we can busy ourselves with like chatting with this person and that person, or going out, you know, not spending time reflecting because there may have been something that you were avoiding. But Three of Cups and the Devil can be doing that in order to try to... The devil comes through and is like, let me seduce you into taking care of this problem this way, and it's not actually going to take care of the problem. It can help you actually avoid the problem, and the problem is still going to be there, even though it can go away temporarily, you know, when you're like talking with another person or whatever. This feels like making sure that you're addressing this. I get the sense that your productivity is involved in this as well. This feels like thinking things through when you're only influenced by yourself and not influenced by anybody else, and you have options in front of you, thinking things through before you're making plans. So really sitting there and thinking about it before you're saying yes to things, and then feeling good about the way that you are showing up and knowing that that feels empowering to you. Like you're giving yourself time, and maybe also time to the people that you care about, but making sure that you're doing this in a way where it's balanced. I wonder too if there may be some people that you've been socializing with that you can look at and feel like that's not a great influence on you at times. It can be one of two things. It can be a person or certain people that you're around that you look at and feel like it's not a great influence on you, or it can be I'm using my relationships with other people as a way to avoid my relationship with myself, and I'm busying myself socializing so I don't have to spend this time reflecting, and you can feel like it's not allowing you to really connect with yourself. So it can be like one of those two things. It can be too like I'm seeking connection so much but not giving it to myself, and so I'm seeking it so much externally and feeling like completely reliant on that because you know that you want to connect, but it can be like I'm doing it with other people rather than with myself. Not that our relationships aren't also important, but it feels like if you're completely ignoring the time that you spend on your own, like thinking about things and sitting with things and getting a feel for sort of what your intuition is telling you and how to make plans aligned with that, like that type of thing, there can be this feeling of self-neglect that ends up happening, and then you become more and more dependent on your external relationships to the point where you can feel like you're using them for something, and it doesn't just become, oh, this is fun and nice to connect. It's like, I need this, you know. It can turn into this relationship where it feels like there's a sense of supply that you can get from that because of not doing it for yourself. And then it can actually be not empowering at all for you. But it can really amp you up in that direction. It's kind of like until it sinks in that you also have to be spending time with yourself. You may really be spending time with like a lot of people, or it can be just one person. It can be that type of thing, like I don't want to separate from them, and then when you come back to a place where you do check in with yourself, you can look at that and be like, wow, I haven't talked to you in a while, like from you to you. And you can feel like just that part of you that needs to be nurtured, and you need to tune in because you are so naturally intuitive and needing to make sure that you cleanse your space and cleanse your energy so you're not taking on other people's energies and involving yourself in their drama and their problems, like, except for when you want to be. This feels more so like there's a dependency being created on another person or certain social relationships to the point where there's some type of like psychological, intuitive self-neglect. So you can feel like you're just running and running and running and then not fully present. Feels kind of like avoiding, maybe. And for those of you that it's not that severe, what this can mean is that it's just about bringing yourself back into more of a space of balance with yourself, where if you've been socializing so much and not really checking in with yourself, it doesn't mean not socializing anymore. It just means bring it back into a place where it's balanced, where you feel like you can bring what you want to bring to the table and nurture your relationships, but that you're also nurturing yourself too. I wonder too if there's like maybe a history of codependence, or that's just something that's sort of playing out, and if you look at it, you can be like, that may actually be something that's been happening here. I wonder too if something's new enough that you can feel like you're sort of ODing on it over here, and you can feel like you haven't been spending that much time sort of sitting with yourself. Can be just like running around and running around and running around, and then not taking time to catch your breath, but then you can feel like a bit disconnected from yourself because of this. Yeah, some of you, I'm seeing this be like a new relationship that you're involved in. But it can be to the point where it becomes sort of like obsessive and then neglecting yourself a little bit. I'm hearing pie, but it's like PY, like it's reminding me of Pyrex or something like that. I'm getting something like that that's coming through here. Maybe a name that starts with a P. Like a P and a Y specifically. Yeah, what I keep seeing is just about making sure that you're bringing things back into a balanced place. So if you're looking at anything and when you sit with it, because this doesn't mean you need to stop anything that you're doing. I'm not seeing it be like that. I'm seeing it be more so if you are doing anything in a way where it's out of balance and you need to bring things back into equilibrium with yourself, to do that. And it feels like the balance between being with myself and being with my thoughts and tuning into myself versus being connected to another person in a relationship. And there needing to be balance between those things. And this isn't saying like you have to spend time alone, but like Hermit isn't about spending time alone necessarily. Hermit is more so about being in a space where you can recalibrate, where you can regulate, where you're regulated, where you're grounded, where you're tuned in, where you can hear your thoughts, like that type of thing. So you're connected with yourself. So it helps you show up presently also within your relationships. So if you're not being present to yourself, it means as much as you may spend time with another person, you're not really being present to them either. And there could have been some type of imbalance, and this is just bringing things back into the middle. And maybe too, you know yourself as like going into extremes, and this can be a time where you're learning how to balance that out. Like, how do I be involved in something that I care about while maintaining a sense of balance and exploring things in a way where I am doing it in more of a like medium, like staying in the middle of the line, rather than completely like toppling over, and then I feel like I'm not on the line with myself anymore. Like it's been disconnected and I'm not tuned in any longer. And it's important for you to be tuned in because that is your guide. Like that is what helps you navigate your life. So if you're not tuned into that, you're not connected, you can be doing things that then it's like, why is this feeling good? Or this isn't feeling right. Or I said that and I don't know why I said that. It can be these things that happen when you're not in a mindful space. So making sure that you are like coming back to home base in some way, so then when you venture out, you can carry that present energy with you. And that's basically what's being navigated currently. I feel like this has to do actually with your sun or your rising, like strong feelings within your personality, and also like how you relate to yourself and also other people too. I'm seeing Virgo, I'm seeing Gemini, I'm seeing Venus, Capricorn, Uranus, the Sun, Cancer, I'm seeing Libra on the bottom of the deck. Just bringing things back into a state of equilibrium. Because it could have felt like the best parts of you were sort of on lock because something was out of balance and it needed to be brought back into a state of balance. Like you empowering yourself, because you could have been empowering, it feels like empowering something socially outside of yourself, and then that not really being a sustainable way for you to show up, and things could have been going haywire because of that. And this can be really a great time of exploration for you, but doing so in a way where like everything else doesn't go out the window. And it feels like that's something that's going on, like making sure, I get this sense of you may be excited because you're exploring something. So, you know, when you get involved in something, it can be sometimes all we're seeing because it's this new thing and it's really interesting and it's the thing that's got all my attention, but to the point where you can feel like there's neglect of other things in your life that you need to pay attention to. So just, it feels like just a reminder more than anything that if you're sitting with yourself and checking in right now and tuning in and you're like, yeah, I haven't really been touching base with myself, or I have been feeling less present, or I have been ignoring my body's needs, you know, or not like taking care of myself in a way that I feel good about, it can be a time to do that. And it helps you sort of like put your head back on straight in a way where you could have felt like that wasn't what was happening. I just get this sense of like going into something in a very extreme way, and now can be the time where you're realizing that it's not going to be sustainable to do things that way, and it could also be like messing with you a little bit. Sort of messing with how you show up is what this feels like. So if you've been feeling like that, you don't need to stop anything you're doing. It's just about moderating. That's it. Okay? That's really the way. So you can keep doing everything that that you're doing. It's just like how you're doing it will shift a little bit. And make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And make sure that you're grounded when you're signing yourself up for things too. Because this can be that thing where you're ungrounded and someone's like, you want to make this plan and that plan and that plan, and you're like, yes, 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 but like not spending time checking in, and then you're like doing all of these things and running all around, and then feeling like not connected with yourself again, coming back to that. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.